steroids. So they're a big thing. We obviously know quite a lot about it in regards to being in the fitness industry. Like obviously people take steroids and some of the pros, the cons, the fact that like gym goers are on it, influencers, bodybuilders, and people abusing it, all sorts. So what's your kind of whole take on steroid use?
I've got mixed feelings. People do what you want to do. Doesn't harm me if they choose to use steroids. But my warning to the younger lads in the gym is, you haven't had a child yet. You're in your young 20s, like sometimes 20, 25. Why go on it now when your body's at the peak with its testosterone? And this is a time when you might be getting a serious missus and you might want children. You doing that one course of steroids will mess up, or potentially could mess up that chance in the fertility. So I'm not against it, and I can't pretend to be. For me, it's all about health first. So ask yourself, are you ready to go on steroids? Have you done blood tests to make sure you're okay to go on steroids, or you need to go on steroids? And does it match to your fitness goals, or are you doing it just for Ibiza? Do you know what I mean? So I've got mixed views. Yeah. Because I've worked with athletes, bodybuilders, where steroids is just it's the thing. You're a bodybuilder, you're on gear, fine. Yeah. But if you're not a bodybuilder and you're just a weight trainer, then really consider if it's right for you.
Yeah. I think like I say, I always get asked when someone asks me, I'm like, well, have you took your body naturally to its limit? Are you literally training to the complete full capacity of your natural ability? Are you bang with your training, bang with your nutrition? If the answer is no, then you need to get there first.
Yeah, get there first.
Get there first to even warrant taking it to get yourself to the next stage. And the next question you got to ask yourself, why? Yeah. What's your reason? Like I said, are you doing it to look for Ibiza? Or are you doing it because you know what, I want to compete, I want to go on stage? If that's the case, then fair play. You're going on stage, you want to look the absolute best because you're going to be competing in that kind of field. So fair play, right? So I think it's more a case of what is your reasons, and then work the pros and cons. Yeah. Like you said, like children stuff. I mean, I had a friend who asked me, because Len, I'm thinking about going on steroids. The first I said to him, I said, right. I said, get a coach. I says, who's fully clued up on that stuff. All right. Don't try and get some like kind of bro advice. Get a proper coach who knows steroids inside out, right? So that's the first thing you do.
Which there's not many people.
There's not many, right?
Not many really good.
Not many, right? Because I says, bottom line is, I says, you need someone who knows, because I says, go on the topic slightly. I said to a client the other day, I said, some of the bodybuilders or some of the coaches or some of the gym owners, whoever it is, I says, when it comes to steroids, they're some of the most clever people you will ever come across. Their knowledge is unbelievable when it comes to the anatomy, to the science, the chemicals. And I said, look, you need to find someone who knows that stuff, because if things go wrong, you need someone to guide you to get you out of that position, right? But anyway, so my mate got a coach, and I said, right, I said before you start your coach, get your blood work done. I was like, because you need to make sure that your blood's in a good position. Anyway, did all that, got his bloods back, told his coach this coach was going to start with bloods, and the coach was honest and transparent. He goes, mate, I'm going to ask you a question. He goes, do you plan to have kids in the near future? And he went, I'd like to. He goes, your blood work isn't in the right position. He goes, if you take steroids right now, he goes, you're going to run a bigger risk of not having children when you're older. He goes, I recommend getting your bloods done first, get things back up to a reasonable level, assess where you want kids, and then maybe after that. Yeah. So for me as a friend, I've kind of done him a favour in a way and saying, look, you've done the right thing. I told you your blood's done. Your coach looks at your bloods. And now you're in a position where your fertility is going to be in a better position to have kids now. Yeah. Whereas a lot of people, again, like I said, get your bloods done. Or how much is that? I said, it's probably about 200, 250. Oh, sod that, I ain't paying that.
Yeah, no, but they'll spend that much money on gear.
I'm like, that's what I mean. It's like, mate, it's your health at the end of the day. Yeah. And then I say, right, get your health supplements. Right, get things that are going to give your organs some support. It's not going to cure things. It's not going to help things, but it's going to give it a little bit of support, because you're going to put strain on your organs. So take this for your liver, or take that for your blood pressure, or how much is that? Oh, sod that. Can't I take something cheaper? Yeah. It's like, I'm like, listen, it's your body, it's your health. You know the risks. If you want to go down that route, then that's your decision.
And that's what concerns me, is that they'll go on the gear, but they won't do all the other things to back it up. And even when I speak to them, I said, have you got your PCT? What's that? And I go, you got to do your post-psychotherapy to kick in all your own tests and all that. And they don't know nothing about it, but they can tell you everything about the course that they're on,
Yeah.
but nothing about after. And that's what concerns me. But another reason why I'm not against it is I've noticed a big culture shift with the young lads. You've still got the lads on the street and causing trouble, etc. But then you've also got these dedicated gym goers where every day their life is a gym. And I think, well, you know what? You're being healthy. You know, you're eating good. You're not going out the weekend drinking. You want to go on gear. This is your life. There's nothing outside of this apart from here at work, maybe out once or twice a month. Why not? You know what I mean? There's a lot worse things that they can be doing, because we know lads when we was growing up when there's on sessions every weekend doing drugs, etc. So I just think it's the better out the two evils.
Yeah,
they're going to be a healthier person for it than doing the other. But yes, it always comes down to bloods and do you want kids?
Yeah, I think like I say, I think education around it is important. Like I was speaking to a member, and he goes, "Oh, I'm just doing TRT at the moment." I went, "Okay, what's your TRT?" He goes, "Oh, I'm doing about 300 mg a week."
That's not TRT.
I said that's not TRT. I said that's like
that's a course.
That's a normal dose. He looked at me, and I said, "Look," I said, "Listen, I'm just telling you what TRT is not that high." I says you need to be doing a bit less, and that's the worrying thing. It's like people not knowing about dosages, especially when it comes down to when I speak to people. Oh, I'm doing so much mil, or it's when people get mil and milligram wrong. It's like you need to know which way around it is, because it's all good telling me taking 300 mg or what it might be, but you need to know your mil.
This is the thing. I've been in different types of gyms over my lifetime, and I've been in one gym where they're dead against it, even though people are using it, but you can't be spoke about. You know, it's like under the radar. Then I've been in a different type of gym where it's so open that people are getting the right advice, and the people in there, I tell them, no, that's not good for you. That's your first course, or you need to do this if you feel like that. You know, it's so open. If they've got a problem and they're like, my nipples are itching, you gotta get the itching down. You know. But if they can't, regardless of what gym they're at, they need somebody that they can talk to openly about it.
Yeah, this is it. And again, like I said, I think as I've got a little bit older, because obviously I know a little bit of knowledge about gear. I don't know a lot of it. I had one who just like wanted to do like a little cycle. Started him off. And then I spoke to him after he was checking. He goes, "Oh, I've upped it to 500 mg a week." I went, "Why?" He goes, "Oh, one of the guys in the gym told me to." That moment on, I said, "Well, I'm not coaching you now."
Yeah.
I was like, because you're taking advice of someone in the gym who doesn't know your background, doesn't know the fact that you've got high levels of prolactin, doesn't know you've got gyno, doesn't know you've had one or two underlying health issues prior to taking it, but instead you'd rather take the advice of someone in the gym rather than someone who actually knows your background. So I said, "Look," I says, "out of respect," I said, I can't coach you no more, because
you're in charge of their health.
Yeah, because I have responsibility looking after your health, and you've gone against that, so I can't take responsibility anymore. And I'm quite open about that, and I'm moving forward. I don't really dabble with that. I just say, "Listen, go to this coach or go to that coach, or I recommend going to this person or go and speak to such at this place or that
we can't
place."
mention names, but yeah.
So I says, like, you know, and that's what I do, because again, you got to look after you can't be taking.
I don't ever recommend anything to do with steroids. I do always send them to the right people that I do know I've got that knowledge and experience. And I try and keep my hands clean from it. Like I said, it's not because I'm against it. It's because there's so many better people out there that can give them the best advice.
Again, like I said, we probably mentioned like previous podcasts in the time we're doing it. It's all about staying in your lane.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's not my lane.
I know a little bit of information, but when it gets a bit more advanced, a bit more technical, I'm like, whoa. You better.
Goes over my head.
Yeah,
I know few people in particular. You can talk to them about something, and they will tell you the difference from one steroid to the next, and like in detail exactly what it's doing to your body and why it's not good for you and why it's good for me. And that's something that I can't do.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, I mean, again, another friend of mine, again, wanted to, you know, take gear, and again he goes, "Oh, Len, can you help me find an online coach?" I went, "Yeah, cool." So again, I said, "Right," I says, "I recommend." I said, "I had a little look," and I said, if I was gonna jump on," I said, "This is the coach I will go to." I said, because this guy knows his knowledge, knows his stuff, his content is around steroids. I says that's the person I would go to if I was going to jump on a cycle, and that's it. Because again,
That's a good thing with social media these days. There is some coaches on there who's so open, and they'll just tell you, no, that's not right. This is what you do on, and I respect that. They're not hiding nothing. You know what I mean? Where in our world, the general public world, is still that no-go area.
Yeah, but it's interesting because, like I say, my mate's done really well. But speaking to him, obviously it's a different level of online coaching. And I just said to him, I said, bro, that's not sustainable. I said, the amount of tracking, the amount of things you got to fill in, like daily, not weekly. My clients do weekly check-ins and do the training logs and stuff, but the amount of detail they got in daily, right? And
what do you mean?
Like down to fasted weight, down to your training log, down to your nutrition, down to your cycle, down to your
input
steps,
that every day,
single day. Then there's how's your mood, it's basically rather than a weekly check-in, it's a daily check-in.
I know why they're doing that. That's to guarantee results because you have to fill this out every day. So
it's the sustainability of that though.
Oh no.
Like I said, he goes no.
That's not my style.
Yeah, he goes. I can't do this for too long. I said it's not sustainable. And he said to me, he goes, I feel like I'm just full of chemicals. I said, well, but that,
you are.
I said, well, that I said that we got a coach who's guiding you, and I says, as long as you're aware of what you're being told, and I said, because you're assisted, you're on PEDs, you've got to accept that you are going to be filled with a lot of chemicals. And so if he goes, oh no, but he's telling me to take this, telling me to take that, and I said, but that was your choice. I said, you want a coach who specialises in that field.
Yeah, and it's no joke. Is it not when they're on the proper course?
Yeah, and I says you got to understand the coach you've gone with. You've seen the people. You've seen these transformations. You've seen the people he works with. They're all.
This is why.
I said they're all assisted. They're all on PEDs. And I says you've got to accept that if that's a lifestyle you want to lead, that's what you expect. It's not a case of him saying, oh yeah, just take a bit of test and deca and that's it, you're done. Like he's saying, right, you need to take this for this, you need to take this for that, you need to take this for this.
And then we're going to put you on some growth hormone because you need it for X, Y,
so,
yeah.
I said that was your choice, but I said you want to find a coach who knows the industry, the area inside out. That's what you're going to get. But like I say, I think, like say, they've got the place, and like I always say, like going back to what I said, like I always say, right, have you used all your natural ability? Are you on top of your nutrition? And then if after that you've got to make a decision where you want to go down that route or not.
I think that's the best advice to give anyone.
But I tell you a funny story though. So I had one guy, right, back at the gym I used to work at, and he was like, wanted to go on gear and stuff. I went, no. He's like, why? I went, because you're not healthy. I said, you're not healthy. He goes, but are you good at it? You don't.
Just wait, was he foreign? Did you do a foreign accent when you're
yeah.
Every time you do it voice, you turn into a foreign man.
Well, yeah. So, So anyway, he was foreign. But anyway, so I said, look, it's not good for your health. And he goes, I just want to take it anyway. I said,
well, you got to do his voice now. You're gonna.
I can't. I says, anyway, so he had a taxi van.
Yeah.
And he goes,
definitely foreign.
It was like,
not stereotyping. Sorry.
Yeah. He's like, he goes, oh, can you do my? He goes, I want to take it regardless. I went. This was like a few years ago when I said no, like kind of thing. He goes, but can you inject me? I went, no. He goes, but you can come in the back of my taxi van. It's like, you can come in the back of my taxi van. I went, no. I said, it's gonna like we've had.
You know what? You might have to contact Tommy Robinson.
but yeah, it's like he goes, he wanted me to park to the car park outside the gym. He wanted me to go in the back of his taxi van. And
give him
and do his jabs in the back of his taxi van. I went, no. I said, do you know how weird that's going to look? Me and you walking out the back of your taxi van. I said, no, it's not happening. I was like, just honestly bonkers, man. Some people are, but yeah.
you got a story for everything. Hey, you know what? While we're on the subject, next time remind me to talk to you about TRT.
Yeah,
and we'll get into that next time.
Yeah, we'll go about TRT and we'll touch upon HRT as well.
All right, then sorted.
Cool.